go home. So far, we have said goodbye to just 2 of the Brazilian teams here. Team 1, the defending Mexico Major champions who lost their crown to FaZe Clan in Sweden. Well, we said goodbye to Team 1 during the groups. Earlier today, MIBR made it to this point up against Spacestation by humbling the defending world champions, sending Ninjas in Pajamas back to Brazil with a 2-0 victory over them. Now MIBR starting off here on Chalet, a very targeted ban. They did not like playing up against the Lion on Villa. I don't blame them. As somebody who permabanned Lion, I'm sure this hits a soft spot for you, but we've got some real interesting bans unfolding in front of our eyes.
That we do. Almost, well, basically every single pick right now is somewhat of a target pick. The F2 on Twitch, the Twitch drone that can clear utility. Lucan being extremely specific, basically going to be allowing you to, I guess, walk around more freely if you're on the attack inside. Those goo mines won't be in your path, and more than anything, it might actually also target MIBR's, I guess, just comfort on the map. Often if you do some study or some VOD reviewing or studying of your opponent team the night before or the day off, you'll see, oh, they always run this operator on every single bomb site when they play a defense or every single attacking round, and it might not be as strategical as you could think. It could simply be as simple as, well, this player has a lot of comfort in the specific operator and how he can play the round with it. Let's remove that operator and see how it impacts them. How do they respond? Maybe they'll just be completely lost. Valkyrie is that last ban, the only arguably normal ban coming out on this map so far. And that means that the Lion, the Twitch, the Lucan, and the Valkyrie will all be off the board for this matchup.
The Lion, the Twitch, and the Wardrobe?
That's a throwback, actually.
That is, isn't it? MIBR picked this map. That means that Spacestation gets to choose their side. On Villa, MIBR picked attack, and guess what? They got a single round on it.
Wow.
That's it. Not obviously advantageous. They got 1 round on defense. Maybe they would have gotten more, but the matchup ended before we could see too much. Spacestation opting to start here on attack. When you look at the way that the bomb sites work on Chalet, how smart of a move is this?
I mean, it's not that crazy of a story, right? It's 47% defender sided, so it is obviously more attacker favored than anything. But the numbers aren't that skewed massively, right? We're starting Basement, which has actually been the most successful defending bomb site at Invitationals, and it's not even like it's not that it hasn't been played very often. It's the 3rd most picked bomb site, almost 2nd most picked bomb site. There's a 55% win rate so far, which honestly is quite good for Chalet. So SSG, they're getting their attack and starting side, and they chose it, so they clearly want it. And that's typically very common for most teams on this map. Chalet has been attacker-sided mostly in the past, kind of been swaying back and forth, but ever since the map got introduced to competitive play, almost every single team has really picked it up. Everybody kind of welcomed this map into the map pool.
Well, this is in the lower bracket for those of you that are just tuning in, or for those who haven't really understood the implications of this match. If MIBR do not win here, then they go home. It's really that simple. If they manage to pull a comeback, win Chalet, and then go to bank and win as well, that's what will send SSG home. On the other stream at the present moment, Damwon Kia, the APAC team that came in having a tremendously strong group stage, are now actually having a group rematch against Oxygen, and from what I understand, they've got their hands full at the moment. If you want to watch both, I strongly encourage you to do so. First kill of the round goes to MIBR, but it's immediately traded. Hot and Cold unable to kill Fellapox before he loses Bosco next to him, so SSG sacrificed that Nomad. A crucial operator cut off flanks on a map like Chalet that has a big payout if you can get somebody into an air jab.
Yeah, and Nomad was actually banned on Villa from MIBR, so that's available now to SSG. They bring it out first round, and it seemed like once those first 2 kills came out, well, 1 from either team, everybody just said stop. MIBR, they ran back to side. SSG now re-droning, re-clearing, rechecking every single corner, because if you don't, there could be someone creeping around in a corner. We've seen that so many times at this event. We see Rambi now instead of dining, they're taking control. There was a mirror window there, so extension from MIBR. It's a basement defense. We are quite far off the bomb site. Got a bit to go with a minute left, and MIBR, they're still playing instead of dining hallway, playing instead of bar itself. Rambi Nate tosses out. That's going to clear some utility, most likely. Didn't see anything outstanding in that position. And now we're going to be working our way down the staircase and going to be working the trench side of things. With 4-4, with 45 seconds left. It'll be SSG who has to break the bomb site. They got Hibana, so they can breach open the walls. Jammer has been cleared with that nade earlier, and that'll now grant them entry into bomb site with 30 seconds to go.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, here it goes. Skies, goodbye. Too busy on drones, nobody calling out the Nitro Cell at all. That's an unforced error at the moment, and boy, oh boy, SSG are gonna hurt for that one. Because of the disadvantage that they have right now and Rampy upstairs, that leaves just 2 players to pull off the execute. And it's Fultz and Hot and Cold to do that. Diffuser going down. Fultz surviving it for the time being at the halfway mark. Down goes Rampy as Ray Duck gets a kill and will now drop in the post plant. It's Fultz, but no! They get cleared out. Falls, Miraculous, and the rest of MIBR do some significant damage. Spacestation really falling apart at the seams, and like that, round 1 goes to MIBR.
Yeah, Skies down to the C4 really ended up punishing SSG. They only had 1 person able to cover the planter, with the last person of Remy being up above covering himself, and that was it. Really not a lot of guns available, and well, they got the plant down, but that's really not enough. While it looks good on your statistics, well, that's all you're going to get. And it wasn't even Skies who planted. Who has the most plants so far? That just means that his stats won't look any better, unfortunately, in that top 5, where he is currently #1 in plants overall in a single player. That is a basement success, the highest win rate bomb site for the defenders. Making our way to kitchen dining next. Reduct, gotta kill that round, Parker. And that was on to Ramby up above, so he might have heard our conversation saying that he should get more kills. Because first round, well, he's already shown that he can get 1 for 1.
Absolutely. Reduct matching the same amount of kills as the previous round as you talked about. Excellent stuff from MIBR. Really, that just does come down to poor coordination. There was a drone of Hot and Cold that went past the mirror, if I recall correctly, and she goes to pull out the Nitro Cell. You should have heard that. And the drone, we don't know how deep into the bomb site it went, but if you don't hear that, you need to stick around and ensure that nobody is swinging on that opening, especially with Skies going on to drone. Of a player like Skies.
And it was a good C4, to be fair.
It was a great C4, and it was very well played by MIBR. You have no idea if somebody is still there.
It's a gamble, right?
It really is. And a lot of times, Hibana will open up the wall and then immediately go away, and nobody will sit by that trench wall. But in this case, for SSG, they sit, they linger maybe too long, and it's MIBR to blow the whole thing open.
Yeah. MIBR had that early aggression. They were holding pretty much the entire map because the engagement early on last round was inside of Solarium, and then had a mirror window inside of kitchen dining, but the bomb site was in basement. So all 3 floors, they saw some action. And, well, it was a 1-for-1 trade. Both teams, they got away with 1 kill, and then we just waited, we droned, we cleared, we bid our time. Nomad, of course, as we said last round, got brought out by SSG. They're gonna wanna take map control slowly and set up those air jabs or cover runouts or whatever, and basically establish map control. And then once they've gotten that map control, it'll be extremely difficult for MIBR to regain control of those specific areas. That means that SSG can play rather slow in the beginning of the round, but they'll have to speed up towards the half end. That's exactly what we saw on their basement attack as well. This is, there's no gun barrel. Oh, we've lost our gun scopes.
Oh no.
They're gone.
Look at this.
We're playing
you know what that looks like?
What?
That looks like the classic, the rocket launcher from Quake.
I see what you mean.
It looks exactly like it. For those of you that know, and by the way, feel free to use that and make memes out of it, and then let us know how it looks. So, Fultz is going to be playing with the brand new loadout, leaking content. Fultz, shake my head.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Pro players and leaking content at these LAN events. They are on a LAN build where you have certain skins and certain on. What a nade! Did that actually clear? What a nade from the basement! It was all the way up to 2 floors. That is a beautiful toss, I will say. Nicely done. Fultz here on the balcony, holding down the angle, but falls. Gets a big kill to Ramby. That'll be your finger off the board again. Not button too well. Belly box. Oh, a good punishment for Fultz jumping in that window. 2 players there from MIBR.
And well played by MIBR to read this out. Both opening picks going in their favor right now. SSG having some real difficulties getting into the building. Losing both Rampy and Fultz. Not where you want to be to start this off with. We've lost the sights again. This is, I actually don't think I've ever seen this.
It looks funny.
The attackers do not have access to it. Falls is completely blind, and in you go. So some control for Bosco. 2 big kills immediately. The team's back at dead even. He might have cleared up the top floor, but the bomb site is on the bottom floor. I promise you, it exists, unlike the sights on the guns at the present moment. I actually kind of like the look.
I like the look as well.
It is actually kind of cool. I mean, No, it's probably not balanced, but it's still kind of cool. Look at that.
Hot and cold rotating, trying to find a way inside the building. He's been outside the entire time pretty much. Will make his way in through West Main on Philly Box. Well, if the timing goes in favor of one or the other, that's going to be a freebie for you. With 20 seconds left, Skies making his way through the standing hallway. They're going to try and plant.
All right, and here you go. 15 seconds to go. Sky's getting the diffuser down. There goes Fellapox. Raps and Rayduck needing to get back to the bomb site. They know where Rayduck is. Sky's stopped at the last second. No diffuser. Great play by Raps now. They'll scramble to get it all in, but Bosco loses hot and cold, and that's an easy pick. SSG getting taken apart at the last possible second. MIBR so miraculously played. The shotgun play upstairs gets them the round, and they're up 2-0.
Somebody asked me why I love Rainbow Six Siege. I think this round really speaks volumes as to why that might be. The depth of this game and what it can offer. You saw, upstairs, the hatch was reinforced. You're thinking, oh no, it's closed. What am I gonna do? Well, when you have a shotgun, when you're playing the mute like Raps is, you can just make a hole in the floor, take the assumption, take the guess of where SSG might be planting. It made the most sense to be exactly where Skies was. And this is kind of the argument that people make where, well, the best thing often isn't the best thing because it's the most predictable thing, right? So that often speaks where, well, if you plant in an unpredictable position, even though it's not the best position itself to be in, because it's unpredictable, you can argue it's harder to play against. And unpredictability is often also we speak of when it comes to aggression. And aggressive teams and aggressive players are very hard to play against for that same reason. It's hard to read the game and the pace. And if you're playing a predictable playstyle, well, all it takes is one shotgun shell in the right area, the floor above, to take you down vertically.
My. That was such an unwinnable round for Spacestation. Suddenly becomes a very winnable round for Spacestation. Then the last second becomes unwinnable yet again. Think about it. Those first two opening picks onto both Rampy and Fultz. Usually the 2 points of your spear, potentially 3 points of your spear available if Hot and Cold is doing well. And SSG immediately lose those two potent forces. You lose a lot of explosives, you lose the adrenal surge as well, and it puts you immediately in a very deep hole. Bosco walks in, plays that Solarium position very, very well, repels in. Right in the midst of the smoke, gets 2 picks, clears out much of that top floor, but at that time, there's not a lot of the clock left to work with. And SSG, they work around the bomb site. They get downstairs, trophies open. They go into the back of kitchen, but that's all she wrote because of the play above after SSG had to surrender that. And what was the big reason why? They didn't have 2 very important players that could sit up top and watch over so that nobody from MIBR retook.
Yeah, we see Raps in this classic corner of Library. We've seen some good memes in this corner from a couple teams. Namely, I believe there's Elevate Dark Zero, where Dark Zero threw like 6 grenades and Sapper just would not die and barely take damage. He'll toss as a C4, won't do any damage. Hot and Cold sticks his ground, but that means that Raps gets away with his life, which is rather good for him. Once you're stuck in that corner, it can be hard to get out of it, but successfully he did so.
Now they'll drone in through Library. There go the air jabs. As we touched upon, and you said in the very first round, one air jab goes off, by the way. I don't know who actually got hit. There goes Lucan. Oh, man, I wish we could have seen that. What on earth happened?
How does that happen?
Upstairs. I don't know. Maybe he got hit by the air jab as the Rotero drone went off. That's something that we will not be able to see. Hopefully these replays get uploaded at some point so you can go back and witness exactly what it is. But this is the strength of those Rotero drones and also the strength of those air jabs. Good drone work from Spacestation now on that early kill. They've got Rayduct under drone as well. Here we go again.
Yeah, I haven't seen many Rotero drone kills at a major event before. I mean, sure, if somebody's injured, that's one thing, but now I believe Luki was very much alive and moving around, so it's a first for me.
I would actually love to see how many Rotero drone kills there have been so far in this entire event, because I bet it's not in double digits. It's probably a handful.
Handful at best. Shields, however, different story. Tons of shields have fallen, ADSs, etc. But kills, not quite. Hot and Cold will try and make his way now through Library. We see Reduct here, still getting active on top floor. It is a bar defense with SSG in control of Library and up above. Doing some vertical play, trying to get open the hatches, and now making the way through down the staircases as well.
Well, with Lucan off, the rest of the team is still upright. 9 players in the server, 30 seconds left. A very slow and methodical round to attack this bar gaming bomb site by Space Station. They need to ensure they're not losing track of the clock, but oh my goodness, 2 players from MIBR coming awake at the final seconds. Raps is down, Rayduck 4 kills, not a single death. Walking in and hopping in, there's the Finka, but an Adrenal Surge almost gets Rampy right back up. Oh, looks away, that Siege timing clear as day. Bosco now will have to scramble to find the last 2 players because there has been some confusion here. The mic stock going down for the coaches does not immediately grant them the opportunity to talk to their teams.
There's a button.
Admins are inside of the TeamSpeak server where these teams are talking to each other, and they will unmute it and allow the coaches to speak.
They 6-pick the Ying. And I just want to go back 30 seconds time and say, if I was the coach of SSG, I would do that. And now they're doing it. That's amazing.
Maybe during the downtime they turned on the stream.
No. They were rehosting. They were rehosting. There was no Luffy.
2-time world champion Pengu said that we should run a Ying, so we should just do that. No thanks to him.
It's back-to-back world champion. It's not just 2-time. It's back-to-back. It's 18 and 19. It's 2 years that are following each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just want to clarify in case there was any confusion. It's not the same.
I wanted to talk about this while we were loading into the matchup, by the way. Spoilers inbound for about the next 10 seconds or so. Deafen yourself. On the other stream right now, Damwon Kia are playing up against Oxygen. Damwon Kia took map number 1. The loser of that match goes home. It is a rematch from the groups. If you want to watch it at the same time as you're watching this, I'd strongly encourage you to do that. If you're on a mobile device, that might be a little bit challenging, a little bit tricky. But if you're watching it back, and this is a VOD for you, I would recommend going and watching that if you haven't watched it yet at the conclusion of this match. You like the Ying 6-pick though,
yes,
Nick?
I do. I was saying that you should 6-pick off the Nomad instead because I don't think that the Nomad's been working out for you for SSG because they haven't really gotten that early round advantage. But just the fact that they 6-pick the Ying itself, I'm all for it. It can help you in the early round, mid-round, late round. You can use the Candela at any given moment. You do not have to save it for that last 30-second execute. You can use it to clear out a room, clear out a roamer, or just even if you don't have a drone, throw it in a Candela and then peek it with your eyes because, well, you can see and the opposing player cannot. So I love the pick. You get smoke grenades, and of course, you know SSG, it's a very comfortable position. The one thing that's a bit different is that it's False playing the operator. It's not Hot and Cold because he's on Maverick duty.
It's not Bosco, it's not Hot and Cold. Both players who have played the Ying Lion before for their team. And once again, Space Station like to swap up these roles map and site dependent. It's why sometimes you'll see Bosco play Soak, sometimes you'll see Skies play Smoke, sometimes Hot and Cold will roam, sometimes you'll see him playing that Maestro. So it really depends. Again, stylistic choices is the thing that we like to talk about, and that's exactly what this is.
Like that, thank you, Observer. Showing the hatch is open, a flank is possible, but of course, that's where the Nomad might just come in handy from Bosco. We'll see later on if any air jabs gets triggered. He has been in this area most of the round. The Lucan is also nearby with Philippox on the dining hatch as well.
I don't know if they've droned out the Vigil on those stairs. They might be trying to bait Bosco in. At which point, there goes the nade on the Falls. Nicely tossed by Hot and Cold. A small window into the Soul, and that Soul does not last that much longer. Departing Falls. Now Space Station, who had tried to pin down one of those roamers upstairs inside a trophy with that hatch opened up, they don't like that. They're going to get out of there, and here comes the Candelas tossed in. Hot and Cold is first to fall. More Candelas going now as well. Fellapox is down, but it's a swing from Raps. Rayduck is also gone. It's Lucan. Miles away with the air jab, is in position, taking down Bosco. It was Mother Henning that air jab, still watching it. Diffuser down as well. 40 seconds to go for Lucan, but this is a dire spot for him to be in. He needs to grab the diffuser, or else Space Station finds their way onto the board. Getting their first time out for Space Station, really showing that they're quite proficient. There goes the shield in front of Skies, but he is ready for it, unflinching as the shield goes, and he pops up to get that final kill. Space Station get their very first round on Chalet.
I love that. That was different attack from SSG. Looking a lot better and a lot cleaner. They really ticked every box there. The Nomad, even though I wasn't a fan of it, really worked well in their favor. They got the flanks locked locked down. That didn't really go any way of MIBR. Then they got the side plant, they got the execute, they had the Ying to go deep, that the Maverick on the snowmobile breach had opened up the wall both with a line of sight and a small crouch rotate. Beautifully executed, beautifully done. And MIBR, they weren't roaming as much that time around, and that really came back to hurt them, because when you have the Ying, which was 6-picked, MIBR didn't know that this happened until they saw the Candelas, or if they heard the gun. Well, the Ying is really, really good for those positions. The only thing MIBR had in control besides the base and bomb side was that, well, we saw Raps on the Vigil on that slow Solarium stairs, and you saw one player instead of dining on the hatch. Ultimately, it did not matter. And now we're gonna be going to kitchen instead. Last time MIBR, they won the defensive side of this bomb site, and it was kind of a confusing attack from SSG. They were attacking like a Solarium repel, and you know, they lost 2 kills, and Bosco rap-holed in through Solarium window, got 2 kills as well. They walked down to bomb site, and we saw those Raps up above with the shotgun. Made that vertical hole, took down the planter, and we see extension up above as well. Raps making his way up to join his comrades to make some more vertical holes and set up this exterior roam game.
Sorry, comrades are reserved solely for Team Empire.
That's my bad.
Yes.
We haven't cast them yet, have we? Empire?
Empire?
I don't remember that we have.
Oh,
I
feel no. Didn't we cast them? Yeah, we cast them against the Sonics on the very first day.
We did. Yeah, we did. That's so long ago,
Yeah.
actually. We did cast in the first day.
We
That was
did.
a good game, actually.
We did.
That was a weekend Empire where Sonics had the massive lead in Oregon, and Empire they stroke back, as we see here. The Empire strikes back.
You can't keep using that.
I'm not. I said it one time. I'll never say it again. This was more like a reference thing. Yes, we did cast in the first game. You are correct. My memory is worse than yours, and that's crazy because I'm younger.
By the way, special thanks to an anonymous Korean expert in the chat, just being informed that it is Damwon Kia, not Damwon Kia. I am Damwon Kia. Obviously, it will not be a perfect pronunciation for those of us who are native English speakers who do not speak Korean. But I do want to say that it is Damwon Kia. That's what I'm being told, instead of Damwon. So not like a dam that water goes through, more like Dam, which
And like a name, Dom.
Yeah, there you go. D-A-H-M for native English speakers, if you want to get closer to the true pronunciation. I know that obviously for some of these players' names, I know that for some of the org names and team names, it's not exact. Liven, for example, is pronounced Liven in French. Jonas, for example, is pronounced Jonas. But anyway, just a small note here. Round number 5, Adrenal Surge goes out for Spacestation. Still 2 to go from Rampy, halfway point of this round. There's been a lot of damage done to 3 of these MIBR players. Falls, Rayduct, and Raps, all taking a beating. Now Felipox has been dropped. He tries to hero peek Fultz, and Fultz will be able to secure. Sees the blood on the ground, but misses. Oh my goodness. Has to be wary of positioning over by Piano, and now Rayduct is gone as well. Why are you trying to peek this? You're both upright. They're going to climb to each other. They cannot get each other back up, but you know what can take care of them?
That's a third.
A grenade. Now it's Lucan to try and get them both back up.
No.
He'll do just that. Can somebody capitalize? That is the question.
Fultz is right down below, but he doesn't make his way up the staircase, sadly. He'll play it safe, maybe get the exit. Nicely done. And also leaves Reduct on 20 health, so Fultz playing that smart and safe.
I would say so as well. But there goes Fultz to Falls. Now Falls is on low HP. Everybody getting chunked away. Skies is in the bomb site. With Diffuser in hand, there goes Raps. MIBR is being boxed out. On a retake is Rayduct. He's also the last man standing. Gets Skies, but the Diffuser is down, so he's a tiny bit too slow. Still 3 more bodies to be found, and he'll find them. But he won't be successful in taking any of them out of action. Just like that, it's SSG to take 2 rounds ever so slightly, getting closer to tying up MIBR.
And it all started with that timeout from SSG, and we just saw Skies basically plant Diffuser, and the moment he finished the plant, he died. That's like classic support situation, right? You walk in, you drone, you do all that dirty work that's super boring, you plant, yay! Now I can play aggressive, now I can take the gunfight, oh, I'm dead. Okay, whatever. Fultz earlier got those 2 injuries up into the library hallway, and he played it very smart, very safe. Went bottom blue, he knew that someone had to come there for the revive. With 2 players injured, they required a 3rd player. More than half the entire team was in that same exact position. It was called out, communicated by Fultz, because SSG, they hit this side really quickly. Once those revives came in, Fultz then found one of those exit kills, and then we saw SSG, well, they're basically planting. So a very interesting interesting round, and it all kind of worked out because, well, when you happen to find two random injuries like that, well, MIBR, you can either leave your teammates to bleed out, or you can come there and pick them up. There really is no right or wrong decision, but SSG, they played around it very nicely, they read the situation, they made a good decision, and they capitalized on it quickly.
Absolutely. Well coordinated on their end. The timeout from Spacestation seems to have settled the nerves down, and now they are playing more like what we expected. A lot better. And those 3 rounds that MIBR took, they were good rounds from MIBR, but they got a huge assist from the fact that SSG made mistakes. That's really what it boils down to. Sometimes you win rounds because you are the better team in that round, and sometimes you win the round because your opponents screw up. And SSG made a couple screw-ups that allowed MIBR to play far easier and really just give those kills to MIBR on a silver platter. Round number 6 underway. MIBR have prevented SSG from winning this half. Very similar to what we saw on Villa. SSG picked attack. They are trailing. Obviously not the result they wanted. That means that MIBR should do better on the second side because they will get the position that they probably wanted more.
It's interesting. MIBR, they don't really have much priority on the library side here. Sure, there are players nearby-ish, but look, they're playing so far back on the blue stairs, etc. The entirety of library itself is clear. Chimney is clear, but SSG, they don't care about library. They're hitting the site.
Hot and Cold is already in, by the way, in the midst of the smoke, but they can't be found. Down goes Rampy, and Hot and Cold has to stop the diffuser, but why? Why? Go for it again. You've got plenty of time, Hot and Cold. Your team is dying around you. You have the diffuser. You could have very easily finished the plant again. These stupid little mistakes from SSG, they add up. Now, MIBR have no problem waiting out the 1 minute and 40 seconds. I don't know what it was. Did SSG just not think they had the right information? But Houghton could have very easily finished off that diffuser and allowed SSG to then move into the post plant, which where you see both Bosco and Skies are in good position. There's no toxic canisters left, so Skies on that tiny bit of HP, he's not going to die to it. But there is an impact grenade from the Vigil. If that hits Skies, that's enough. And it will likely be Bosco now who will have to grab that diffuser and plant. With Skies on such low HP, watching over top of it. Again, another blunder with Hot and Cold starting the plant, then stopping it in a head-scratching fashion.
Yeah, it seemed that Rambi was pushing deep inside of stock, and once he fell to smoke, well, Hot and Cold got off the plant fearing that there was no cover. The smoke grenade was tossed out, the toxic babe rather, and that kind of gives you a bit of a shroud and, you know, less visibility. And if you're Hot and Cold, you gotta stick to the plant there because you're as good as dead if you don't, and if you get it down successfully, well, at least there's a chance. But a chance there still is. SSG, they can clutch out the round with 35 seconds left to go in a 2v3, falls, low on HP, no toxic babes.
This is going to be so tough to do, though. It's hard to really describe how challenging. Playing against the bomb site with limited time to do that, and Skies on such low HP, especially with these SSG players' positions now being known. Skies triggering the Banshee might not give away the position of both of these players. MIBR just need to be on keep away, but look at this. Felipox is a double. Felipox, you have a double. You know that somebody's there. Bosco's looking the wrong way. Down goes Skies, and it's relatively easy for Felipox. That round was so winnable for Space Station, and they decided to toss it in the bin. First half in the books. MIBR 4, SSG 2, and whether or not it's your team winning or your opponents beating yourself, you're going to take those 4 rounds right to the bank. And MIBR switch sides much closer to finishing off this map than SSG is.
Oh yeah, if you're MIBR and you see Hot and Cold not stick to plan, you're happy like, why didn't they plan yet? It's not like we stopped them. Of course, it looked like the Toxic Babe was very, very close to Hot and Cold, but he wasn't taking damage, so he was safe. That's not why he came off the plant. It's just one of those, again, as I say, like 50-50 situations where, well, it happens. It's really hard to make the right decision when you're in the server with all that pressure, and as I said, 4 dudes just yelling in your ear, different callouts. Oh, I got a buff, one guy flanking, no drones left, oh, they got in stock, Rambi dies, no cover, be careful. And you're like, okay, in 1.5 seconds or 0.1 seconds, I need to now make a decision, and it has to be the right one. It is much harder than you may think. I remember back in my days, and now I sound like a boomer.
Here we go.
We had Shaz, our coach from G2, in a scrim that is a practice game between 2 teams that we do to prepare for these events and to train every single day. And Shaz may be a phenomenal coach who has many, many victories under his belt. He's amazing in a Google Doc sheet, having meetings, you know, taking care of his players. He is not the most formidable player in the server. And you'll often make the case that, oh guys, it's easy, just like go there, breach that wall, then get the crossfire, set up the plan, throw 2 flashbangs, then 1 nade, get the kill, and then you win the round. And then when you're in the server, but all these things happening, you know, all your senses are heightened. You're trying to isolate the game sound, the teammate sounds, the callouts, the strategy, the visual clues that you're being given. It's extremely difficult. It may look easy to make the right decision, but I'll just tell you, it is not. So don't be biased and call them out, Parker. Okay? It's okay.
Well, I have no problem calling a spade, and if I'm MIBR, I'm not particularly happy with that first half. Even though you have the lead, it was SSG beating themselves on a number of these rounds, rather than MIBR being more strategically sound and winning gunfights. The sloppiness of your opponents is... Oh, speaking of sloppiness, rehost shows a little bit too much skin on that window, and it's Bosco to punish him just for that. Down goes the first player from MIBR, and Spacestation now have an advantage. A heavy investment upstairs over the bomb site, Nick. This is a kitchen defense, but with the way that SSG is defending it, a lot of layers to peel through like an onion.
That's
for MIBR.
The nade rolled off the window frame because it wasn't cooked, and therefore that castle barricade stays alive. Featherbox can now choose to use his second grenade or melee down that castle barricade. SSG, they're actually rotating their ADSs from Rambi around to fit the nades, but the only thing that will fit here is Rambi's head on the ground because Lucan gets that kill. Bosco low on health with no help in sight. Lucan finds another. It's too easy. Make that a third. Hot and Cold tries, but he fails.
Again, they swing when they have a numbers advantage. They don't need to do that. You weren't in a position where you needed to immediately give up that control. You could have played off of it for a little while longer. And now, even though rehost was the first one to go, MIBR are in full control of this bomb site. They just need to get in and plant the diffuser. That'll be Falls' job to do that. It's a deep rotate from Skies. I'm assuming he'll want to head through West Main. Instead, he's going to go up to Library. Look at this full retake. There's no Nomad on the board for MIBR, so if somebody is not actually positioned on flank watch, there will be chaos, absolute chaos. But SSG doesn't really have much intel. MIBR have the luxury of time with 50 seconds to go. Fulse engaging at long range, but he's exposed from a number of angles. Still holding down the fort for now, trying desperately to buy time for his teammate in Skies. MIBR positioning themselves, but now Skies has made it back to the bomb site. The adventure upstairs on the flank does not pay off. Fulse rotating on over, he sees Falls there, but nobody can outduel Falls it seems, and there goes Skies. A massive round from Lucan, a massive round from MIBR, and they're up 5-2.
It's a 4K. He found 3 single 1v1s upstairs, single-handedly took the entire round by himself. But it wasn't really him doing much, you know, really. It was him, and we'll see it here, holding an angle. One guy walks in, second guy walks in, and before that, those 2 kills, well, another one happened before that. Basically, you're just waiting, and then you let the enemies do all the work, and SSG could have played a little bit more together, play 2 versus 1 rather than 1 versus 1, and basically make Lucan's odds of working out a little bit lower. That's not what they did. They got punished, and Lucan really held his ground well that round, and it might look easy, as I said, but hitting the headshots is not always a difficult task when the players are moving so well here on LAN. That means that kitchen does not work out. We're going to be going upstairs on master bedroom. This bomb site's win rate is not particularly good, and it doesn't see that much play these days. It just seems a little bit too easy for attackers to really pick apart. We typically see people go library, and then just walk to that breach into office, you breach the wall to side, and that's the round. It's really hard to deny the plan. You have no ground to play on as a defender, and we will indeed see Skies and Hot and Cold with that mirror extending into library.
Oh boy, MIBR, you've got a confidence boost right now because for whatever reason you are in Space Station's head, and that might have been one of the more decisive rounds that we saw from MIBR because there were only a tiny number of small mistakes committed from SSG. Lucan in particular, once he was inside a Solarium, swept through that defense, just continuously moving. And I don't know, I actually didn't see. Was he being droned in? I mean, I didn't notice. It seemed like he was just going, by the way. And then once you start going, sometimes it's impossible to stop that ball from rolling down the hill. So SSG in a bad spot. They use their timeout back in round number 3. Every single map you and I have casted today, a timeout has been taken at the end of round number 3, by the way.
Oh, that's true.
Every single map. So if we go to bank, will we see that trend line continue just from our own perspective? For round number 8, MIBR looking to curl their fingers around match point. It's going to be an upstairs bomb site hold, starting in Solarium with falls on Repel and a drone in there as well.
Oh. MIBR playing the rotate game like they did earlier on Coastline against NIP. They like to scout out the beginning of the map and kind of get the layout, and then they'll make a decision middle of the round. It's a little bit less common. Most teams, they will have a beginning strategy and follow through. They see this setup, 3 ADSs, magnets, etc. Skies playing on those Solarium stairs. It's too difficult. They don't have enough clear. 3 flashbangs and 6 nades. They would have to use every single thing to get that opening. But instead, it's an easy coming for them as Felibox finds Rampy. It's traded right back.
So neither team really gaining anything at this moment. Rampy going down as the Jaeger, I don't think is as crucial as Raps as the Sledge. There's one for Fultz onto Felibox. A very key part of this execute as it's the Finca. Down for the count, and an advantage for SSG. They'll grab, oh no, not another. Lucan swings on the Skies, his attention elsewhere. Now it's Fultz in the line of fire. There goes Bosco to Falls. MIBR are picking apart this Space Station team and doing so quite easily. Fultz could be the next one in line for a contest as Hot and Cold flanks up the stairs. Is there somebody watching in that direction? Again, no Nomad present for MIBR, so you don't have to worry about the gadgetry working on flank watch. But with a 3v2, there's very likely somebody who's going to be watching.
Yeah, Foles really stuck between a rock and a hard place. The jumping comes through, but it's a shutdown from Foles. He's all alone with no help inside. Shotgun doesn't do the work, has to reload in the middle of the gunfight, but Lucan with that ARX only has 21 bullets. They were all used, but now with the reload, he finds the head of Foles.
Hot and Cold in a 1v2, standing on the stairs of Trophy. Diffuser going down, but Falls is still in this position. He knows exactly where he is, and it's a relatively easy kill for MIBR now to move to match point.
That means, SSG, you are now in the same position that you put MIBR in on Villa. 6-2 scoreline on Villa, we get a 6-2 scoreline on Chalet, and now we have to see if you can now do what MIBR could not. And that is to claw back many, many rounds, 4 in fact, in a row, to go to OT, to then take 2 of the following 3 to win the map. Otherwise, it's bank time, baby! And that's a map we haven't seen much of, you and I, Parker, at least in recent history, because we've had 2-0 games. Bank has been the decider map for like 2 or 3 of our games. We never went there. We had a 2-0. Might not be this case this time around.
My, oh my. MIBR now. Going for it all, and they are a single round, as we said, away from Bank being the contest, with these teams having just played it one time here at the 6 Invitational, both winning on Bank. So for one of those teams, they will lose on it, and not just a regular loss, but an event-ending loss. Space Station going up 8-6 over Na'Vi, a very close and bitterly fought contest. MIBR 7-3 over Oxygen. So, brace ourselves for impact. This MIBR team that finished in the top 4 of the 6 Invitational last year might have struggled to get in here. They might have people betting against them. They might have LATAM fans saying, oh, they're not the real deal. We're looking at Liquid. We're looking at FaZe. We're looking at Ninjas in Pajamas. Maybe even Team 1. Well, guess what? 2 of those teams are gone. FaZe Clan is also in the lower bracket. They might not be sticking around for too long either. Liquid is the only one with some sure footing. MIBR at the moment look mighty fine. SSG, if they lose this map, they've got some soul searching to be done because there were a lot of rounds that they threw out. This could very easily be a 4-4 scoreline. Yeah. Realistically, a 3-5 scoreline. SSG might even have the lead on a couple of those rounds if they don't make such dumb mistakes against MIBR. And I honestly think a key part of why you make dumb mistakes is because you don't value your opponents and you don't think that they can punish you for those. SSG getting a little bit too far ahead of themselves in some of those rounds. It costs them. And when it comes to 1 or 2 rounds making a huge difference, look at the scoreline. That's really all it takes.
Every single round is so important in Rainbow Six Siege. It's 1st to 7. So 1 clutch, well, that's a massive amount of rounds in comparison to how many you need. Now we see SSG getting active, getting aggressive. 1 jump out, 1 swing. But Lucan once again comes out on top. He is so lethal on Chalet. 9-2 right now. Has the majority of his kills off this side of MIBR.
Oh my! SSG look lost
Easy.
at this point. This
Too
is
easy.
so easy for MIBR. Oh my, a very free matchup. This is a downstairs bomb site, as you said, having the distinction of being the most defender-sided site on this map, though overall this is an attacker-favored map.
Yep. Factually true.
And if you look at it, MIBR have won 4 rounds on defense. SSG plus MIBR on attack equals 4. So really, MIBR showing just how dominant they can be.
Once again, with the mathematics, Parker, you are wearing that math teacher kind of outfit today. That was spoken of in the green room with the talent, but let's not get too much into that.
Yes,
Reduck,
I know. Somebody said that either Jesse or Hap looked like my understudies.
Oh, no.
I was an
Oh,
economics
no.
professor. Yes, I know. I got it. Okay.
You look young here in the talent crew, though, I will say. We look good as well.
Thank you.
Minute left. Just shy of it. Rampy roaming above single-handedly. 2 players from SSG inside the bomb site. Walls are still fortified. They are reinforced. You got mute jammers and a kite claw spare in the pocket. SSG can hold down the fort, but they have 2 less guns than that of MIBR. Lucan low on health. You got 2 more adrenal surges to heal him back up before the execute comes through. This will be the flashbangs followed by the nick, clear the jammer, breach the wall. With 30 seconds. MIBR, you can... Oh, that's that spare claw in the pocket. It came out. Of course, we have more nades to go. We have 1 more from Sledge. That's the last one. We'll have to go. 15. Here we are.
This peek around the doorway is not being punished right now. A nitro cell goes off. There's Fultz that connects, but the nitro cell gets shot out. The wall is still there. Lucan hitting his shots. Fultz swinging on in. It's Falls and Rayduct against Rampy. A single player from Spacestation, but Rampy's looking the wrong way, and Rayduct will punish it. MIBR punishes SG back with a 7-2 scoreline, the exact same number that SSG prevailed by on Villa. Both of these teams so strong on their map choices, and we're going to need a third map to see whether MIBR or Space